I have an extremely close relationship with my sister, and my father says that I'm weak and less of a man because of it. Does that really make me weak? I'm 26 and my sister is 31. To understand this story, you need to understand how we grew up. Dad drove long-haul trucks. He'd be gone 3-4 weeks at a time. Mom worked doubles at the hospital. So for most of my childhood, the person running our house was a kid herself, my sister. She was 10 years old making me scrambled eggs before school. She checked my homework at the kitchen table. She walked me to the bus stop every single morning until I was old enough to be embarrassed by it. And then she walked 10 feet behind me instead. And when Dad came home, she was my shield. Because here's the thing about my father. Nothing I did was ever right. I struck out in Little League. I was soft. I cried at my grandpa's funeral. I was weak. I hugged my sister goodbye before her first day of high school, and he pulled me aside and told me men shake hands. I was 7. My sister heard all of it, and every time she'd step in between us. She was maybe 5'3" by high school, and she'd stare down a man twice her size and say, "Leave him alone." Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it didn't. But she never stopped trying. She taught me to ride a bike because he wasn't there. She taught me to tie a tie from a YouTube video the night before homecoming because he wasn't there. She sat on the kitchen floor with me at 2 a.m. after my first real heartbreak, splitting a gas station ice cream because he wasn't there. When I graduated high school, she was the one screaming my name from the bleachers and taking 100 blurry pictures. Dad had a route he couldn't get out of. He always had a route he couldn't get out of, and she was there the night of my accident. The worst night of my life. Hold on to that one. It matters later. Fast forward. I'm 26 now. I have a good job, a good life, and last month I got engaged. My fiancé is amazing, and when we started planning the wedding, she asked who I wanted standing next to me. I didn't even have to think. I asked my sister to be my best woman. She cried. Then she punched my shoulder and said obviously, and then she cried again. So we're at Sunday dinner at my parents' house. Mom made pot roast. Everyone's in a good mood, and I announce it. I say, I asked her to be my best woman, and she said yes. My mom lit up. My fiancé squeezed my hand under the table. My dad put his fork down and laughed. Not a happy laugh. That short, sharp laugh he does when he's about to say something cruel and call it honesty. He said no son of his was going to stand at an altar hiding behind his big sister. Said I'd look like a joke in front of the whole family. Said grown men have best men, and I needed to grow up, be a man, and stop clinging to her like I did when I was little. The table went dead quiet. Mom said his name real soft, like a warning. My sister's jaw was tight. I could see her getting ready to defend me for the 10,000th time. But this time I put my hand on her arm. This one was mine. I didn't yell. I've learned yelling just gives him what he wants. I looked right at him and asked him one question. Where were you the night I flipped my car at 19? You could hear the clock in the hallway. He blinked. He actually had to think about it. So I told him. I hit black ice coming home from my second shift. Rolled twice into a ditch. I was upside down in the dark for 20 minutes before anyone found me. I remember hanging there thinking the last person I'd talked to that day was her. They cut me out. Broken collarbone, 40 stitches, and a concussion. The hospital called everybody. His face changed. He knew where this was going. My sister answered on the first ring. She drove 4 hours through the rain in the middle of the night, and she was there before they even finished the scans. She slept 3 nights in a plastic chair next to my bed. She filled out my paperwork. She talked to my doctors. She held my hand when they reset my shoulder, and I screamed. I let that sit. You called a week later to ask about the insurance. He opened his mouth. Something about work. Something about the routes. About how somebody had to pay for that hospital bill. And maybe that's true. But my sister was broke back then too, and she still showed up. She never once made me feel like I owed her for it. Then I finished it. She's standing next to me at that altar because she's been standing next to me my whole life. Every scraped knee, every bad day, every hospital bed. You can sit in the pews with everyone else and watch what strong actually looks like. My mom was crying. My sister grabbed my hand and didn't let go. And my father, the man who spent 26 years telling me what a real man is, just sat there staring at his plate. For the first time in my entire life, he had nothing to say.